Hey, what's up guys? This is Sohan and you are watching your Technical Spark channel. Friends, in our SQL Server Failover Cluster configuration series, in our previous video we have learned introduction of our architecture, right? How exactly the things going to be work, what is the active passive architecture and other stuff. But in this particular video we are going to focus on the prerequisite, because I got a couple of comments that let's start with the practical. But the fact is, before you start with the actual configuration, you should understand what are the things are required, otherwise you are going to be stuck somewhere. So let us understand the practically the prerequisite part. Okay, what are the IP address required, storage, how many servers required, your version of SQL Server, SSMS, and this type of stuff. And for that I have created one very beautiful architecture. Okay, this will give you lots of information, and I'm pretty sure after watching these prerequisites things, you will be very much clear from your end that what are the things you would require in the entire series. Okay, so let me show you that, but before that, one small intro video. Hey, welcome back guys. Now let me open this my architecture which I have drawn for you. So as you could see here, total I have 3 servers. So the first server is my domain server, where I have AD and DNS role installed, and these 2 servers are going to be part of this domain server. So this will be my SQL node A and SQL node B, which will be going to be in cluster. Okay. Along with this AD DNS role, I'm also going to configure iSCSI target server in the same server, because I don't have any dedicated NAS and storage, okay, which I could directly share with these servers. So since my test lab is very small, so what I have done, I'm going to use this server as a iSCSI target server, so that I'll be able to share the storage with this. And why I'm going to share the storage from this server is just because since we are configuring active passive, why we are configuring, so in case of any failure, it could be because of OS crash or database failure, application failure, whatever it is. So if any server goes down, the entire things has to be taken care by another one, right? So that's the reason, instead of storing our SQL Server database into this same server, we are going to store in somewhere remote place like this, and from there we are going to share this in both the servers, so that if any one of the server goes down, the load will be taken by another. If this goes down, the entire operation will be taken care by this server. So in this way, the application of which data is getting stored in these servers, that application will be running smoothly, okay, without any interruption. And later on you will be able to rebuild that particular server, okay, whichever is down. You can fix those issues, and again turn on the server, so that it again get added into the cluster and do the same job again. But now, as you could see, to start with this configuration, you would require some prerequisite to be fulfilled. So what I'm going to do, as you could see, I would be required total 3 NIC card. So the first NIC card, which is Ethernet 0, this will be primary NIC card available in all the server. Okay, as you could see, primary IP address of our server, through which we will be able to identify that server. Now I will be required one more NIC card, that is I called Ethernet 1. So this particular NIC card I am going to configure just to share my storage. Okay, so whatever the storage I am going to configure in this server, that I am going to share with this particular IP address, as you could see here, right? So this will be shared with these 2 servers. So on primary server, the IP address which I am going to provide for that NIC card is 192.168.1.10, and for my other server it would be 1.11 and 1.12. So hopefully these 2 NIC card the requirements are clear. Now again we would be required additional NIC card, that is Ethernet 2. But this particular NIC card, which is through which we are going to configure our Windows cluster, I am going to add this NIC card in only 2 nodes, which is our SQL Server. So here are they, 192.168.2.11 and 2.12. The reason behind I have added all the NIC cards into the different VLAN just for the ensure the communication, and it will, so that it will not be able to disturb the existing server functionality. Now once this NIC card configurations, number of IPs are required, once you are done with, guys, one very important thing, when you are going to configure or share your storage device with other two servers, make sure you have enough space available. Okay, so based on your application environment, you can create required size drive. Okay, let's say 1 GB or 500 MB for quorum drive, then for your data folder, which is where exactly your SQL is going to be installed and store the logs, okay, and data. So make sure you have provided appropriate space. It could be 10 GB, 500 GB, 1 TB, whatever it is, right? So whatever the application to which you are going to integrate your this SQL server, and based on the load or requirement as per the vendor, okay, make sure you have given proper disk space so that you will not run out of the storage. And if it requires, just check out the IOPS as well, because how much speed is required when your data is going to be written on your disk. So consider all these things before you start with the configuration, okay, so that it will be always good idea to give some additional buffer space, so that even if you goes out of the space, you have some time to arrange the storage or increase the disk space. You may have change request or other RFC process, so or maybe need to raise the demand, argument, new servers, right, disk. So just consider everything when you are configuring this, because database task is always been a critical role. Now once this thing is done, you would be required one cluster name. So basically you will have to create one host entry into your DNS. Okay, so these are the things which I have created, and created the PTR host A triple record for cluster name as well as the DB network name. How exactly I'm going to use this, that I'll show you in my upcoming videos, but yeah, this is just for your reference. And the another thing is SQL Server service accounts. So when we are going to install SQL Server in our server, we would be required these two accounts. You can use your administrator or any existing service account also, but just for the identification, I'm going to use this dedicated service account. And the last one is a domain administrator. So this is my domain administrator through which I'll be logging into these servers, okay, which has the installation rights, because we are going to install the software SQL Server, so it required admin rights. So these are the basic prerequisites. I think this is very easy once you understand everything. And apart from that, you would be required your SQL Server setup file. So whatever the license you have, it could be your 2016, 2019, 2022 SQL Server, you can download the appropriate full setup, and then SQL Server Management Studio. So once those are downloaded, then you are fulfill all the prerequisites, then you are good to proceed with the installation. And there's one more thing, guys, you will also need to add these servers into the bunch of few services, so that this account which you are running, okay, will be able to run scripts and other steps. So those things I'll explain in my further videos, okay, when we'll reach to that particular point. So hopefully guys, the things are clear and you have found this video useful. If so, please click on the like button and don't forget to share and subscribe. This is Sohan signing out. I'll catch you in the next amazing video. Till then, bye bye.